will stay alive, but...
Okay. Oh, it's gonna die, huh? Will it turn off when it dies?
I'm assuming, yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone! I have a mic. I already have recorded a podcast episode, but it was like you could see my cooch when I was recording, and that just... We're not going to do that anymore. Now we have a Nikon camera that we've always had. That's Allie's. Okay, so I want to start a podcast. 1% of podcasters succeed. I'm going to be that 1%. Anyways, I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot on my mind. And I have one conversation in particular that has been a constant recently, and that is being pregnant. And you're probably like, hello? And that's exactly what I'm thinking as well, is hello? Why? But it turns out it's warranted. This conversation, this battle in my head of pregnancy and being a mother is extremely warranted for the times that we are in and who our president is. I'm not a Trumpy. I will never be a Trumpy. I will never probably ever vote Republican. And that's just who I am. So... Anyways, I got my nails done today because I'm just a girl, but I'm just a girl who doesn't necessarily want to have children, Okay, let me back up. I went home to visit my parents, and a conversation that we had was, is having children selfish? And... as a 24-year-old who goes to the gynecologist for her yearly checkups, it's always, are you sure you don't want to be on birth control? You're very fertile. Are you sure you don't want to, you could get pregnant at any second of any day, at any time you can get pregnant. You are so fertile. And like, obviously I know this because as a dancer, I'm very in tune with my bod. And also my hips have gotten wider, if that's even fucking possible. And my body is quite literally preparing for the phase of whatever this is in life where I am called to have a child. Now, in my right sane mind as of right now, I cannot reason with the fact that I should have a child or like could have a kid. I can't have a kid for reasons that it feels morally incorrect at this day and age with the way that the world is. And those words have come out of my mouth to my parents. The words, I can't have a kid. Now, I physically don't know if I would be able to get pregnant. I'm sure that I would, and like, you know, some people and some women wish that they could get pregnant, and that's amazing. Some people wish that they could get pregnant, and that's something that I don't necessarily wish for. If it was taken from me, I think I would be upset about it because at least I have the choice, but I don't think I can have kids morally. And this is something I think about a lot, actually, just because, you know, we're at this age in life where everybody around me is having kids, getting married. And in my head, growing up, it was always, oh, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to have a degree, I'll have a career, get married, fall in love, get married, have children. And then, like, my life is over, and that's, like, what it is. And as I've gotten older and as I have realized that my hopes and dreams are very not, like, I've never been able to have a clear picture of my career or, like, what that could be. And I feel like I feel like it's always because I've been an artist and a dancer, and it's not like I've never had a clear like, oh, I'm gonna have children one day. Thank you, Allie, for being on
I just wanted you to know
tech support.
It's from here up on you.
That's okay.
Is that okay?
They can have shots of my cooch.
Do you want less cooch?
No, cooch is fine.
Okay.
You guys, maybe it's good for the press. Just kidding. My mom would love to hear me say that. Maybe she'll listen to this. I'll send it to her. Shout out, Mom. But anyways, I've been in such deep, like, this podcast isn't going to cover it, but, like, I was having a conversation with Skylar, my bestie. I love you, Skylar. And we were just talking about how, in a way, I feel like I'm not doing my womanly duty of, like, having a child. Like, it feels like a duty as a woman that I'm supposed to do. And there are so many women I know who have the happiest lives, and their aunts and like people that are uncles that don't have kids. And I'm like, I see myself in that way. And then I also feel so conflicted because I'm like, I've never felt like I'm enough, and not wanting kids kind of adds to that narrative of like, of course I'm not going to have kids. Like, there's another strike in the book of life for Sophia doing something wrong. Like, that's kind of in my like trauma life. That's how I feel in my trauma brain. That's how I feel. I don't feel that I'm actually a bad woman. I don't think that I deserve that. That's kind of a crazy thing to say. Oh God. I'm boring myself. But it feels weird. It feels weird to, like, not have the... Like, I hated that. This is so sexist. And shout out to Drew Afawalo for her book and teaching me that this thought that, oh, but some man will come along in your life and you'll want to get pregnant and have his babies. Like, I'm so in love and I'm so happy, and I still don't feel like I would want to have babies. And Drew Afawalo said it herself. She is with a man. She's a straight woman. And they don't want... You have to read her book to understand why. It's called Loud. 10 out of 10. I'm her biggest fan. And you have to read her book to understand why, but she just, like... It doesn't matter how in love you are with the person you are with. If you don't want to have kids and something is telling you like you're doing something wrong or like you should want to, it's the patriarchy. It's sexist. It's this idea of like, it's misogyny. It's internally ingrained misogyny that we are raised with essentially in school systems, in workplaces. It never ends. School for sure. I remember sex education, and like obviously we couldn't wear things that were shorter than where our fingertips go, but like I have long ass monkey arms, so like my shorts had to be so long, and some girls could wear shorter shorts, and I was just like, why can't my shoulders be out? It's hot outside. I don't want to wear a t-shirt. Like, it's all of that combined, deeply rooted misogyny is the reason I feel like I'm a bad woman. I'm not. I know that I'm not.
Wait, this is crazy that you're talking about being a bad woman, actually. When I
want to be a nasty woman.
Sorry to just jump right in.
No, I'm ready. Go.
I was looking through old journal entries. Oh, thank you so much.
Hey.
I actually don't know if I'm in frame.
You are now.
I know.
Okay.
I think I was talking about being a bad woman in like very different ways, but I like had a whole like morning page entry that was about how I felt like I was a bad woman.
Wait, we've had this conversation, actually, I think.
Probably.
I think we've actually had this conversation because I don't know. Okay. We are not bad women, obviously. I feel like that doesn't really encompass the definition of like what it is that I feel. I think it's like inadequate or like not fully a woman, or like I definitely identify as she, her, and I feel so strong in my femininity and having pussy power. There's literally nothing like it. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. But I do sometimes think, is my mind fucked up for not wanting kids? Like, is my internal compass kind of pointing in a different way for like the wrong reasons? And I feel like I just can't sit here and be like, yeah, I would have a child. Like, the only thing that comes to mind is that I love having cousins and I love having extended family and I love knowing people who are close with their families and their cousins and this and that. But I'm like, but the hell that people have to go through to give birth, to raise children, to make sure there's healthcare involved, to make sure you can pay for the child to literally be brought into the world. Like, I can't even begin to fathom. I've got a $200 bill that I haven't paid back, and I'm not paying it back because I don't have $200 to just throw at a bill for something that should be covered by health insurance. Like, try $20,000 for a child. There's no way. And you're probably like, Sophia, you should stop telling yourself that, or you should stop having those thoughts. Well, yes, but it's so crazy because I didn't realize how much that conversation was going to affect me until I had it with my parents. And they were like, you got really upset. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I did. And like, I don't have like existential conversations like that a lot, just because I feel like there's not always a lot of time for that. But excuse me. But yeah, I just feel like it's weird that I have had this idea in my head that, to just die.
Oh, maybe.
Recording.
Okay.
Half video is fine. Can you plug it in while it's there?
Try.
Anyways, I'll keep talking. La la la.
Actually, no, I totally can't because I have to take
The whole battery out. I wonder if the good old photo booth looks like. Wait, I kind of like that as an intro. Anyways, now I'm recording on my lovely, lovely laptop. So yeah, as I was saying, I feel like it's a confusing time in life. And I also definitely, like, as a queer woman and like dating a woman, I can't physically have a child right now, even if I wanted to. I could go through IVF, I could go through whatever treatment, X, Y, and Z treatment. But that costs so much money. Like, I'm not gonna do that. So anyways, okay. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I feel like they are so deeply rooted in just like my upbringing in El Paso, and just like being so straight growing up and being surrounded by only straight people, or like if queerness or gayness was talked about, it was always frowned upon, or it was always in like a sneaky sense, or it was always like a secret, or it was just like it wasn't spoken about unless in like weird terms. And I just always thought like everyone's straight, and if you're gay, it's unfortunate. Which is kind of funny now. to me, because now I'm like, oh, it's really unfortunate when you're straight, because women are awesome. Not all women. Not all women. If this podcast goes public, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to say anymore. Anyways, you know who you are. If the shoe fits. Now would be a good time to take a sponsor break, but I don't have any sponsors. I would like to thank Lucchese Boots, because I think this last weekend with my parents, I spent a total of probably 6 hours in 3 different boot stores, and one of them being the Lucchese factory outlet, which was fire and huge. And I've never seen so many pairs of boots in my life ever in one place. That's not the sun. That is a lamp. Anyways, yeah, so that's something that I was just like talking about with Skylar. And it's confusing. It's confusifying. So yeah. Allie, do you have anything to add about being a bad woman? I feel like I want to hear what you have to say. Let her speak.
I don't know. I was kind of logged out for the last little bit of that conversation. I don't want to totally go off book.
Go off book. It literally, I was just talking about how I just like, it's confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Because we grew up so straight.
Yes. I think I always, like, I don't know that I ever felt like I really, like, fit in being a straight girl.
True.
So I don't feel, like, super...
Yeah, maybe that's why it's so weird now. Like, having those thoughts about, like, for me. Not for you.
I mean, I feel like people around me growing up were always talking about having kids and, like, having a family because it's, like, what you do.
Yeah. Right, it's what you do. It was so
But I
annoying.
never was like, okay, eventually I'm gonna do that. Like,
yeah.
I always was like, oh, I'm just not gonna do that part. Probably.
So you knew.
I mean, I either knew or I just, like, didn't ever spend time, like, picturing what that would be like.
Yeah, I never felt like that was gonna happen for me.
My hair looks really funny.
No, it doesn't. Looks good. Yeah, I never felt like that was gonna happen for me. I felt like kind of the odd one out. I was like, oh, I'm probably not gonna find that or be that or whatever. And I always, like, I never pictured it. Like, usually in my life, I can, like, I have a gut feeling of, like, what is for me and what's not for me. And, like, I can tell when I'm forcing it and I can tell when I'm not. And I never really deep down felt like I would have, like, a family. I never pictured a family in a house. Hell, now I cannot really picture a house and, like, kids running around. That's so crazy to me. Like, a dog, perhaps, and Allie. But I don't picture a child or a man, honestly. And, like, if you would have told me 6 years ago, Sophia, you are gonna be in love with a woman and you're not gonna want kids, or you're gonna be conflicted about the reasons you would want kids, and you're not gonna be in a house, and you're gonna be paying way too much in rent pretty soon, but you're gonna be dancing professionally in New York, I'd be like, wow, that's really crazy. Thank God I'm in therapy. But yeah, I don't know, it's such a crazy, it's just weird. I feel like the queer female experience is so not talked about enough. And I just feel like that is why I feel a certain way. That's why I feel like a bad woman instead of a nasty woman. I'm definitely a nasty woman, but, you know. I feel like I want this closer to me. I wonder what this sounds like. Hi. guess I could turn the volume down since it's so close to me. Yeah, I don't know. I think also a big part of my experience in high school was dressing for men, and like I feel like this might be a normal experience, but I also feel like some people don't have this experience at all. Like I feel like Maeve, her experience was so different, and she would have to talk about that because I can't speak to that, but I know that it was so different than my high school experience. And like partying was huge growing up, and like what do you wear to parties, and like do I put on sexy underwear because someone's going to take it off, like that sort of thing. And rather than just like being okay with the way that I wanted to actually be, because I was constantly trying to prove myself worthy of male gaze. And it should have been the other way around. Like, it should be the other way around. So, like, if I did have a kid, I would be able to influence that child. Okay, really, I don't know where I'm going anymore with this. I think I'm going to end the podcast here. I feel like this episode is long enough. I think it's fine. But yeah, being a bad woman, it's not really how I feel about myself, but I wonder if societally I will be looked at as that. And like, do I care? Not really. Does it affect me based on how I feel about myself? Yes. Because there are just like a lot of existential thoughts that go along with like being a mother and like being able to choose whether or not I actually want to be one, and what that means for the rest of my life and my career. And like, it's praised and it's glorified, but it also sounds awful. I feel like being a mom in general, hello, my thoughts are leaving me. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm not gonna know. Okay. Thanks. Bye.